What up, Cagesiders? You must be sick of me. This is like our third podcast in like 5 days. It's amazing. It's almost like something that we do on the rig. It's me, Sean Rueter, and Geno, the General Mrosko here. I wish we were here under happier circumstances, but the reason for this podcast is because the Hulk Hogan news that broke, I guess, real late Thursday, early Friday morning, just won't stop coming, and we're still processing it. Geno and I, as far as what it means for news and what it means for us as fans. So we thought we'd come on here and do that with you guys. Geno, what up?
What's happening, Sean?
Hanging in there, man. Hanging in there.
Give us a quick rundown of the story.
All right. So, well, you broke it. Thank goodness you were up late. Insomniac Geno Mrosko. The rumblings were going around that WWE had wiped Hogan off of the website. The initial rumor, which turned out to be right, was that he had been caught on tape saying some racist stuff. And then Friday morning, with me and Bill Hanstock on the beat while Geno got a little much-needed rest, it came out. National Enquirer actually broke the story from 5 different independent sources that he had said things. It was part of the sex tape thing that has been out there for about 8 years that he's in a lawsuit with the Gawker website about. And in a conversation with Bubba the Love Sponge's wife, who he was sleeping with while Bubba knowingly filmed it, it's horrible all the way around. He was talking about his daughter Brooke's career and a black guy who had approached her about financing her career and some other things. And so, started talking about how he was a racist and using the N-word and saying that he didn't want non-rich black guys dating his daughter, sleeping with his daughter. And that's what it is. And then Hogan, shortly after that, confirmed it basically in a statement saying that didn't represent who he was. It was an apology. It seemed like the right thing to do. WWE still wiped him out. He's not in the new video game. I guess he's out of the Hall of Fame. I don't know if they've officially said that. He's certainly not. They're not promoting him at all right now. And so that's pretty much where we are today.
Scrubbed completely.
Yeah.
The website was told essentially to get rid of him from everything. Not even Curtis Axel was allowed to maintain a character that was a parody.
Right.
I actually saw, and this popped me. Maybe it shouldn't have, but someone suggested. I don't know if it was on the site or on Twitter. They said, they should have let Axel continue running with the parody and had him come out and cut a promo and said, "Well, brother," and then the New Day just came out and beat the shit out of him. And that's the whole segment. And then that's it. It ends.
I popped it out. I see why WWE wouldn't do it, but it would be funny.
And I could see why anyone would hear that and cringe. And but I laughed. That's actually kind of funny. How do you feel about it, man? Like, because it's a big thing.
Yeah. How do I feel? I mean, there's so many different pieces to pick apart. I mean, how do I feel about the fact that Hulk Hogan is a self-admitted racist? I'm not shocked. I mean, he's a 60-year-old guy who's from the South.
Let's start there. Actually,
okay.
Let me stop you and back you up.
Sure.
I've seen Hogan has done himself no favors by saying, "It's not who I am. I'm not a racist." Okay, Hulk. Now, this is the exact wrong way to handle this. If you're, and again, everything is PR. Remember that. Everything WWE is doing is PR. We've seen how they are about racism. About, has there ever been a black champion? I mean, we talk about that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's the whole, it's whether or not they count The Rock as being black, which they do when it serves their purposes. When it doesn't, sure, they ignore. Right.
Sure. So everything's PR. But you can't say, "I'm not a racist," when the tape says these words, verbatim, "I am a racist."
Yep.
And then says the slur right after it. And I won't repeat it. I don't want to, because it's just not, you shouldn't say that. But
yeah.
I guess we're all a little racist. And then says the slur. Like, you can't now be like, I'm not a racist. I've never. And then he's got all these people coming out, Kevin Nash, Virgil, Dennis Rodman. Who else was there?
Tito Ortiz.
Piper had the worst defense of anyone.
He redid his defense today. I don't know if you've seen it yet. It's where he's a little bit clearer, but it's still. I mean, Piper's problematic. I don't even like that word problematic, but Piper gets us into the whole other part of this, which is the racist history of pro wrestling and WWE.
The angles that we've seen on TV, yeah. And it's just, it sucks. It really sucks because racism sucks, and it sucks to think that Hogan holds those views, like his viewpoint of the, like you kind of glossed over it, but I believe what is it that he said? He said he didn't want Brooke to be fucking a black guy, and that's not what he said, but you know what I mean.
But that's basically, I mean, that's
and
whatever the exact words were. That was the sentiment.
If she's going to, he'd rather it be a rich, tall basketball player. That's just like deeply problematic.
Yep.
To hold that kind of viewpoint, to be that I don't even know, and you can't defend it.
Yeah, I don't.
There's no defending it, right?
No.
My thing is, and I don't know. I think about. How old are you, Sean? You say you're 41?
42 now.
42.
Almost 40. I'll be 43 in October.
Don't look a day over 40.
Thanks, man.
No. How many times? This is where it gets tough for me because I know, in my life, I've made so many mistakes. I've said just the stupidest shit. And if you put a fucking camera in my house and my brother came over and our buddy came over, we're supposed to go get lunch after we do the show, and you just set it there and everyone could hear everything we say, man, I don't know that it would look kind to me. You know what I mean? And I don't have a single relationship in my life, and I would venture to say you probably don't either, and anyone listening doesn't, that didn't require some level of compassion and at some point forgiveness, right? Mm-hmm. Like you do, you're a human. You are imperfect. You are going to let the people in your life down. You're going to say some dumb shit. You're going to do some dumb shit. That's life. So it's tough because I just, I'm not that far removed from a situation where I did something wrong and I said something wrong, and I've just had to face that. And I've just had to, I messed up, and then to the person who I had messed up to just go, and take my lumps, right? They're upset at me and I'm so angry at you and you're this and you're this, and to sit there and go, I'm wrong, you're right, and I'm wrong, and you validate that, and I'm sorry, and you just take your lumps and you try to be a better person. I want to be compassionate to Hulk. I was on Twitter and I said, I hope he learns from this. I hope he, instead of just jumping on the train where you go, fuck him, he's a terrible human, and you see that everywhere. He's a garbage trash person. And you know what? Holding those viewpoints is fucking awful. Like I hope he doesn't actually feel, I hope it's just, there's no way to get rid of the context. Even if you put it in context, there's no way to make that a not terrible thing. I want to feel compassion. I want, Mick Foley came out and did the same, and I thought it was awesome. And he was like, I truly believe he's a good dude in his heart, and he just made a really bad mistake, and hopefully he learns from it. And sometimes it takes something like this gets exposed now, and now someone needs to show him, teach him something. Maybe this can help him understand why that viewpoint is such bullshit. You know what I mean? But he's making it hard.
I do.
Yeah, but he's making it hard by the way first of all, the TMZ report that he got upset at Vince. Wrong thing to do, dude. That's got nothing to do with you. That has nothing to do with what you did. You fucked up. It's not the time to point at anybody else. Exactly. Stand in and take your lumps, dude. I fucking made a huge mistake. I said some bullshit. It's an awful opinion. And what year did this happen? What was because it's a long time ago. 8 years ago,
so it's 2007, I guess.
8 years ago. So it looks awful because that's 8 years of time when he could have come out and got out ahead of this. Mm-hmm. He could have been like, you know what, whatever. But even now, you don't point the finger at anyone else but yourself. Even if they're wrong, because you're wrong. We're talking about you now. You're the one who fucked up, and now we all know. You can't, you know what I mean? as I said, with what's going on in my life, you know, person comes to me and I go, well, yeah, but you did this. No, that's not how it works. I fucked up. So I apologize and I take my lumps. He's not taking his lumps. And he's retweeting all these messages of support. I know you're not racist, Hulk. You're a good dude, Hulk. And it's like, you're not, I don't go in for moral absolutism. He's not a bad person because he did a bad thing.
Right.
But fuck, man, that's not helping you.
No, the two things for me on that, and I mean, we've had this discussion on less important topics. I try to not get to like a place where I'm hating anybody, and not because I'm a fucking flower child, but because I'm miserable when I do that. So that includes this. I don't want to hate this guy, period. And I definitely don't want to do it because he's somebody that I, you know, fucking half the memories of my childhood as it relates to one of my favorite things, pro wrestling, have this dude in it.
Yes.
So that's a whole nother, we'll get to that too. The problem is that the things that he said, it's not like, and I'm with you too. I mean, like if you put a camera in this house just with me and my wife, I mean, we say things that make each other laugh that we would never say to anybody else, but it's not the N-word. It's not.
Right.
It's not, first of all, it's not the N-word. Not, second of all, this isn't just like he made a joke where he used the N-word. That's like, a lot of people are still confused, I think, because there's another tape that's been out there that sort of came up again on Friday where he, you know, it's an interview that he did on a Sirius radio.
Yeah, that was completely not.
That was completely different, but that's him just saying that some rappers that he was friends with told him it was all right for him to use that as a term of affection because he was, you know, he had his black card or whatever. This isn't that. This is a really like hateful, like I'm assuming it goes on for several minutes just based on what we have seen. I haven't heard it, but it's not just like making a joke about a black guy or something. It's a whole. First of all, like you said, he says, I am a racist. That's pretty the people online were like, but he's not racist.
He said those words.
You said you were, Hulk. So maybe you've learned since then. But again, we're not seeing that. I thought his initial statement was good, where he actually did apologize. And I think he's made reference to trying to learn from this. But then everything he's done since then isn't the actions of somebody who's trying to learn. Right. Yeah. He's in a defensive mode, not in a ownership and I'm going to grow now mode.
And that's difficult.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it is it's really difficult to, you know, when you fuck up, right? Because you're a kid, you know, you make a ton of mistakes. Your parents are constantly telling, don't do this, you know, you're yelling at you, whatever. And that feeling you get of I fucked up and that like, it's just a shitty feeling, right? Some people, I feel like, and I've been like this throughout a lot of my life. I hate that feeling. So fucking, I will do anything to not feel like that. Even to where there have been times where it's like, I knew I made a mistake, but then get into an argument and I'm pretty good at bullshitting. I'm pretty good at arguing my way out of something and just do that instead of deal with that feeling. And I don't know, at some point, you just grow the fuck up and you realize, dude, you know what? You feel that way for a fucking reason.
Right.
Because you fucking did something. You're supposed to feel like that. It's good that you feel that way. Instead of taking that and trying to like strip it down and get rid of it by like pushing it off on other people or deflecting or any of those kind of things like that. Sure, I mean, that might make you feel a little bit better in the short term, but that's the kind of thing that makes you a garbage person. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the kind of thing that makes you shitty. Feel it.
And that's I mean, first of all, that's one of like the biggest things that I've learned as I've grown up. And I will say, I mean, most of my like growing up has happened in the last 10 years. I was like a 30-year-old little boy running around. So, I mean, it took me a long time.
Dude, I'm 28 and I'm still getting there.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm still getting there too. I mean, I hope I'm better in 10 years, but I know that I grew a lot more from like 35 to 42 than I did from 0 to 35. But anyway, I mean, I think that's something that you learn is that you got to shut your mouth and just sit there. And like you said, that's a response that you have emotionally, psychologically for a reason, because you did fuck up and now you need to just, and the way that you make an amends for that or that you apologize for that, you say you're sorry, but then you shut up and you don't defend yourself. You let people who you hurt tell you that, you know, you deal with that. And that's what we're not seeing from him. And the thing that really surprises me about that is that he's obviously still got a pretty good PR team somewhere, because I don't think he wrote that initial statement. I think some people swooped in and said, okay, here's damage control. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like you said, everything is PR. This is all business. This is his livelihood. I don't blame him one bit for having lawyers and marketing people at his fingertips for this. But those people should be telling him to lay low right now. Don't let word get to TMZ that you're pissed at Vince. Don't retweet people who are, who are basically making fun of you. You don't even realize it. He's just like retweeting pictures of handicapped black kids that people are sending him.
Yeah.
I know he's old and he doesn't understand, but
that's not an excuse.
Doesn't understand social media or whatever. But this is like some of the pictures, like the post I wrote about it. Somebody said, "Well, he's 61 years old. How does he know what a British football player looks like?"
Then get off Twitter.
Well, first of all, one of the pictures is of Drake, so that's not exactly obscure to an American. And two, one of them is like a guy like with a fake afro on, and another guy's wearing like an Andre Agassi wig. It's obviously a joke, and you don't even get that. That's how out of touch he is.
Also, what are you trying to accomplish?
Right.
Are you trying to convince us that you're a good dude? Again, that shouldn't be the goal.
Right.
That shouldn't be what you're doing right now. What you should be doing right now, again, I hate to like bring it back to me and my personal stuff again, but I'm kind of in the middle of going through something at least similar. And I won't get into details, but I'll just say I was close with someone. I told lies, and it was shitty. And you tell one, and then you want to come clean, and then I was too much of a fucking coward to just own it because I didn't like that feeling. Yep. And then so you tell another, and you get buried underneath a bunch of lies, and then finally you come clean, and it's like, dude, you're a piece of shit. And it's like, you know what? I am. And so now I'm literally still kind of in the middle of working through that. And I'm not going to go on Twitter and like someone tells me how great I am, and I'm going to read. We had someone put the post up on Cageside talking about how great Cageside is and how they feel like they've made the dude with Asperger's.
Yep.
You saw that.
Yeah, right.
And we want to put on Twitter, I'm not worthy of this. I do not deserve this. I'm grateful that I can help someone feel good about themselves. Whatever. But there are other people in the world who are like, fuck Geno, he's shitty. And it's, I don't. The right thing for me to do is not to go and try to tell everyone how great I am. The right thing to do is, and this is what I said to the person I'm going through this with. I said, you know what? Anything you need from me, please let me do it. I fucked up. I will put my hands behind my back and be a punching bag for you for as long as I need to be. This is just whatever you need. I'm sorry. I made a huge mistake, and you own it, and it feels fucking awful. Like you just beat yourself up because you should be. You should feel awful. That's how you need to feel.
But isn't it also, and maybe you're not there yet, but don't you also, you get a little bit, at least this was my experience when I came clean with a bunch of shit, is you also get a little bit of a relief that you don't have to fucking lie about it anymore.
It's a huge weight that comes off.
There is benefit to you, which it could be for Hogan too, if you would just leave the apology out there and shut the fuck up.
That's the other thing. This can be a good thing. And that's why I said compassion and forgiveness. Because, again, and not just with this or whatever, because, I don't deserve forgiveness for what I did in this situation. I don't. And if that never happens, I understand, and, and I'll always be sorry. But at the same time, it's like something like this, it should open your eyes. Mm-hmm. You should be trying harder. It should make you understand, dude, like, I don't want people to come into my life and have experiences with me, and then when they leave my life, they're worse off than they were when they came into it. I want people, whoever comes across my path, to be better off for it. And Hulk should take this and go, you know what? Own it. First off, own it. You did it. There's no fucking getting around it. Don't try to justify it. Don't try to act like you're not what you are. You motherfucker, you said, I am a racist. I guess we're all a little racist. You tried to paint us all like that. So I guess we're all a little racist. And then you literally said the words fucking and then the slur. That happened 2 different times. Don't try to say you're not. You say the truth. You say, you know what? I did. I said that.
And that was the great thing about that first statement, is that he didn't. I was expecting him to deny it. Or like Kevin Nash's tweets today, even sort of, they like try to give him an out. Like, well, it's an edited tape that was released. Maybe it's, Hogan didn't do that. His first response was, yep, I said it and I fucked up and I'm sorry. And then since then, he's been backtracking.
Because, and that's the thing, is you'd be fucking shocked at people, how understanding and compassionate people can be if you're not being a piece of shit.
Right.
Like, so again, not to go back to me, but like I tell the lie because I'm scared of what, the reality, or I just, I don't want to lose something, or, I have a reason for it. And it's so selfish, but it's like, if you just would have been honest, we could have figured stuff out. It would have been no big deal.
Yep.
And it's
I mean,
like
look at the history of celebrities that get forgiven for shit.
everything,
right.
all of them.
Almost everything.
The Ultimate Warrior has an award in his name that WWE gives out. The Ultimate Warrior was a bigot, a homophobe, and wasn't he also racist? Or is that?
I believe. I don't know. I mean, he was. Yeah.
We don't know. Allegedly.
I don't know. Allegedly.
I
mean, but Mike, look at Mike Tyson, who went to jail for rape. He's now like a beloved American figure who does like these one-man shows that sell out on fucking Broadway.
In the WWE Hall of Fame. These people support constantly Floyd Mayweather, noted domestic abuser. If you go back 8 years in Steve Austin's history, what are you going to find? Like, that's the point. And the wide point is, guess what? You will find that with almost everyone you come across. Everyone's done some bad shit. Everyone's said some bad shit. It's, what do you do now? You know what I mean?
How do you react to it?
Your history is not clean. My history is not clean. But it's like I said on Twitter last night. It doesn't matter how fucked your history is. Your future is 100% clean. It's today. Make your shit today. What are you going to do today to be better? So that I tell the person, I lied and I'm sorry. And now whatever you need to do, I can be a better person today and help give them what they need to be happy in their life. And now I can also go forward and I can, use this experience just like Hogan can, just like you could use the experiences you have had in your life where, you just, that feeling, you don't need to feel that where you have to apologize. Just don't do that. Just be fucking good to people. Just don't hate people for no good fucking reason. Don't like an entire race. Like, what the fuck's the matter? Like, why would you even feel that way? What do you even have to gain from that? Like, it's like, I told lies like a dipshit, and an asshole. I had something to gain from it. Yeah. It was selfish as fuck, but I don't want to lose this. And if I say this, maybe I will, whatever. But what the fuck do you gain from hating people for being black? I don't even understand it.
It's, it's real. I mean, and that's where you get into, I mean, he's got a lot of rehab work to do here. I mean, because this goes back to the creepy sex tape thing with, sleeping with his friend's wife.
You know what?
This is disgusting.
Okay, so it feels that part of it. I don't know how to feel about all that stuff because, by all accounts, Bubba was cool with it.
Yeah.
And if Bubba's cool with it, and Heather is cool with it, and
was Bubba cool with it because he was going to tape it to blackmail him, though?
That's what we don't know. That's the part that's grimy as shit. But if Bubba's cool with it, and Heather's cool with it, and Hulk's cool with it, that's none of my fucking business. People can do whatever they want to do. I'm not going to judge that. I mean, there's no problem with it. It's two people having sex. Dude's like, you guys do your thing, and then he bails off, whatever. That's okay, fine. If he did it to blackmail, that makes him a grimy fuck. And, hopefully he learns something in his fucking life to get better and not be that way. But as far as
feel like there's a mountain of shit here that adds up to, I am judging him because I'm human and I do that as much as I try not to. But I don't want to, it makes me feel very much like I'm not interested in having anything to do with Hulk Hogan anymore. And this goes back to like the stuff with his relationship with his daughter and because that's where that's what is also creepy about this is that the place that we learned about his racism is when he's also sort of being possessive about his daughter, which that I don't, and then just the fact, we all know, we laugh about it, but he lies a lot about everything. He's got the Hulk version of stuff. Like I said, if what he should do is go forward and not say anything. And this is just to tie it back into wrestling. This is like with the Divas Revolution or anything else. It doesn't matter how often you tell us you've changed or that something's awesome, unless you show us that you've changed or something's awesome. It doesn't matter. So I'm creeped out, and there's this body of evidence, which I think that's sort of why I'm a little bit less leaning towards the compassion side than you are in this, because I just think that this is just the latest like sleazy thing that we've learned about this dude. But that being said, if he goes forward and treats everybody fairly and stops fucking defending himself and shows us that he's a different person and works to help get more diverse people into wrestling or something or whatever, that would be a lot more meaningful to me than some tweets that show that either you're an idiot or you really don't understand what's going on.
You don't get it. Yeah, you don't get it. He's like pumping his own ego with these retweets that are bullshit, and people are just using it to fuck with him. And I don't feel bad for that, you know. And I don't feel like, oh, he's 61, he doesn't know. Then get off Twitter. You don't need to. You know, It's pretty fucking weird that you're on Twitter
reason for you to be on Twitter today, Hulk.
Yeah,
put it down. Log out.
Your ego is not what you need to worry about right now. You need to worry about the people who you hurt. That's the fucking thing. And again, but and I understand. I think human beings are inherently selfish. We have to be. It's subsistence, man. Like, it's how we survive, right? But at the same time, again, you do stuff like this. It's not about you. I don't like being told that I'm a fucking piece of shit. But if I acted like a piece of shit, and the person who I acted like a piece of shit to needs to say that to feel better, I need to validate that and do what I will feel like this because it's the right fucking thing to do, right? So that they can feel.
Don't you think that's sort of the part of the whole problem here with Hogan is that
you don't feel like that's the case?
Well, but it's also, and this is what most of his lies have to do with, is making himself the center of attention again. And I think that's what he's most afraid of losing here. It's not even so much the money. It's, holy shit, what if I don't walk everywhere and people fucking stand up and applause and chant Hulkamania at me?
That's gone now.
Oh, yeah. He keeps acting like this.
He's still got a lot of support.
He does.
Which is fine. And I'm not, I don't know. I don't want, what's so funny about this is, right, it's so funny is it's not that long ago that people were like, oh, Geno's got all the ammunition he'll ever need now. Fuck Hogan, and all that stuff. But I don't know, man. Like I said, just like you said, you grow up and things happen and you realize things. And I don't know, man. I just don't want to. I don't want to be hateful, even though he was, because I don't feel like that's the proper response. I don't, because it's
what does that accomplish?
It makes me think of prison, right? Because what's the point of prison? Is it to punish or rehabilitate? If your idea is you want to punish people, then yeah, it works great. If the idea is to rehabilitate people, it doesn't work at all. No, it's just the worst system imaginable. So do we want to just bomb him for being a piece of shit because he was racist and may still be? Or do we want to teach him? Do we want to let this be a thing? We can open up a fucking dialogue and we can forgive him for it while also saying, look, dude, here's why it's a problem that you think this. You know what I mean? Here's why you shouldn't think that way. We need to figure out a better way to go about life so we can all be happy and we cannot just serve the Hulk fucking ego. That's just grown to proportions that are just, and it was always that way. But I don't know, man. Yeah,
that's one place that I feel compassion for a guy like him or a guy like Piper, or even more recent people. I mean, I don't know what it's like to be in a business where every night. I mean, I think this happens with Kurt Angle a lot. It was a guy who I fucking adore, but he's a mess. But I think you get addicted to, that you got for 280 nights a year or whatever, you walk out and people lose their shit just because you're there. And then it stops and that goes away. And
let's be real. How many times have you written something and someone's complimented you? Mm-hmm. Right? Or you've taught, I wanted to tell you, by the way, I read your Raw preview today. I finally read it. I really
read one.
I really like what you're doing with that. I thought it was really good.
All right, cool. Thanks. I switched it up because somebody made fun of me for doing it the old way. So I'll read I loved it. Commented on the site like twice. Yeah, it's cool.
I'm glad they did. It's awesome. And then someone said something really nice about you where oh my God, Sean talked to me. Right? That's happened, right?
Yeah.
How'd that feel?
I'm still amazed by it, but yeah.
Right. It felt so fucking good, didn't it? It just made your head get a little big and you were like, ooh, you like that feeling it gave you. Now imagine that on a fucking scale a billion times bigger, where people you are a deity to these people. You are you're on this big pedestal. And for me, it's like I said, when I put up the link to it, and someone said, oh, Cageside so great. I made sure to say, I'm not worthy. I don't deserve this. I worked hard on Cageside seats. We've been busting our ass for years, man. And we've done something, it helps me in the sense that I've done a lot wrong in my life. I've made a lot of mistakes and I'm atonement and stuff like that. I'm working to, fix things and all that. But, I've done a lot wrong, but that kind of stuff lets you know, it's nice to know I've done something right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That said, it's important to not do what Hulk's doing and just pump your own ego, to stay grounded, dude. Hey guys, I'm a person. I'm just a human being. I'm literally no different than you. I have big muscles and they put me on TV and put a title on me because people seem to enjoy me. But I'm just a guy. I'm no different than you. I shit and piss and shower and shave just like everybody else does.
And like, there's nothing wrong with being proud of your gifts or your talents or whatever we want to call them. I mean, you should be proud of cultivating this website and making it what it is. But well, thank you. But you gave me the chance, so but I'm not going to turn this into a circle jerk.
I did. Bow down.
You did. But there's nothing wrong with being proud of that, but you can't live off of that. And to use your example, I mean, that's like, yes, you tweeted that to say I'm honored, I'm humbled that this guy, that something I had a part in creating makes this guy's life better. You didn't like subtweet that at the person that you're trying to, atone to, which is basically that's what Hogan's doing.
Sure.
He's not just saying I humbly accept that you love me or whatever. He's saying, see, this proves that I'm not bad. I'm not a racist because this African American kid likes me or something. I mean, it's so misguided. It's not good. But let's talk about the WWE. Let's talk about going forward.
One more note on this.
Go ahead. All right, go ahead.
One more note on this is
do it.
This is where it's really important that everyone that I think it's super important to make the distinction between the man and the character. The character is and that's a good segue. The character is untarnished. The character is exactly the same as it always was. Nothing has changed with the Hulk Hogan character. Understand this, okay? True. Terry Bollea is a racist or was a racist in 2008. I hope he's changed, and if he hasn't yet, I hope this is the thing that makes him change. But Hulk Hogan, right? It's a gimmick. It's not real. What you saw on TV is Hulk Hogan. Needs to be we need to differentiate the two things, right? And in some degrees you don't. In some degrees it's one guy. You can't have one without the other. So I understand that. And I'm not saying that means that you should like everything's cool now. But I don't know that I agree with what they've done. I don't know that I agree with. I mean, they went Chris Benoit, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that I agree that being a racist is the same as murdering your family.
No, it's most certainly not.
I just feel like they could have done something like that, right? Like Terry Bollea made a horrific mistake. His comments were awful, and we do not endorse that, and we'd like to distance ourselves from that. However, Hulk Hogan, the character, right? Because Stephanie has given interviews where she's been open about this. They've obliterated kayfabe. We all fucking know. Right. This is when it would come in handy to be like, Hulk Hogan, the character, was an integral part of the history of the World Wrestling Federation, now World Wrestling Entertainment, actually now just WWE.
Right.
And we were not, the NFL didn't fucking scrub O.J. Simpson from its record books. No. They didn't. He did those things. That happened. You can't just act like it didn't.
Right. It's really tricky. I mean, I absolutely agree with you. I think that what you just said is like empirically true. There's a character played by somebody. He didn't write all of his own lines. Maybe in the 80s he was mostly going off the cuff. But when he's come back lately, he's been reading a script. There is a difference. However, it's tricky with him, man. I mean, he plays that character everywhere. He owns that name.
That was Warrior's beef with him all those years. Was you are the gimmick,
right?
Terry.
He believes his own hype. Yeah. And this isn't like, I mean, this isn't. I'm not comparing the crimes, but this isn't Benoit, who is like really known to some people who are really into wrestling. This isn't even like, say Randy Orton, who I think maybe Orton's a little bit more mainstream, but I think even somebody like Orton, you could scrub him a little bit more. Hulk Hogan is fucking professional wrestling. Yeah. You walk up to anybody on the street and you say WWF, WWE, pro wrestling, he's going to be one of the first things that comes out of anybody's mouth. So it's tough, man.
Hulk Hogan.
They hired him because of that. That's what his current job was. He was their ambassador. He was pro wrestling, and they wanted him on their team.
Here's the weird thing. This is like, if it were not for Hulk Hogan, it's probably safe to say this. If it were not for Hulk Hogan, it would not exist today. Wrestling would WWE, not in the form that it does. I don't think it would. So to just erase him and to get him off the network, and you said he's out of the Hall of Fame. I didn't realize that was the case.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm not positive.
That would be
I've heard a lot of people saying that, but I don't think there's been an official announcement. I think he's been like taken off the Hall of Fame page on the website, but I don't know how they're handling that going forward. There is no physical Hall of Fame, so they don't have to do like a Joe Paterno thing. Like, do we take the statue down?
Man, I don't know. Because again, I feel like it's just at that point, that's when I think it would be important to just differentiate between the two. You go, yeah, Terry Bollea said some really awful things, and he apparently holds some really terrible viewpoints. And we hopefully this is be an eye-opening experience for him, and he'll become a better person for it. I hope that's what happens, right? I don't wish ill will on this person. He's a person.
Right.
And I think everyone can come back from, no matter how shitty something is, I think everyone can come back from it. It sucks that it seems like he doesn't have the right attitude right now, but
and here's the other problem though, from WWE's perspective.
Sure.
And this is similar to Benoit, because them acknowledging Benoit and appearing to profit off of Benoit opens the door to looking at their history of dealing with concussions and their history of steroids. They're any willingness to look the other way when it comes to Hogan opens the door even more than it already has been to their own history of shitty racial treatment, of shitty treatment of people based on race, or making fun of people on TV based on race, or booking decisions based on race. The fact that they've, like you said, they've never had an African American world champ other than The Rock, who they don't always acknowledge as that. So that's going on right now. Like right for this weekend, a lot of that came out. That's where the TMZ thing came out, where they remembered Vince doing it. But will that just go away if WWE does what Hogan's not doing right now and shuts up about it? I think it probably will, because that's the way our society is today. But if they say we're separating Terry Bollea from Hulk Hogan, and Hulk Hogan is still a big part of our history, and we're still going to have him on the opening screen of WWE Network and shit, then you leave that door open, and they don't want that door open.
It's funny that we talk about, like with the, when you come clean on stuff, that is forcing you to confront something ugly, right?
Right.
And you feel awful about it, right? And a lot of times what people will do, and I've read fucking studies about this, where, people tell, I don't know if you know this, but regular people, as they did a study, 1 to 2 lies per day on average. Normal human beings. And these range from little stuff like you go in late to work and you say, well, I got stuck in traffic, as opposed to the reality, which is you slept in, to, big lies. And we tend to save our big lies for the people we're most intimate with, right? Because there's something to gain or something not to lose. You don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, things like that, whatever. But it's forced to confront when you fuck up. It's okay. So it just, you're opened up, and now people can really see the real, and then it becomes a big thing. Ray Rice, the Ray Rice situation, 2 games, whatever. People weren't that outraged when they knew that he had punched his wife in an elevator.
Right.
And then the video came out, and they were calling for his fucking head.
Yep.
You could see her get knocked out by this man. And suddenly it was, why? Because we were forced to actually confront the reality of it. So this is what that is here. We're forced to confront that Hogan said these things. There's an audio of it. It exists, and now it's in your face. Now deal with this. With WWE, there hasn't been that point, really. It's just enough that you can keep sliding it away. It's racist, but it's a small. I can't believe I'm putting degrees to racism here, but you go, well, the New Day act, right? If you go through the roster of black wrestlers and look at their gimmicks, what is it? R-Truth is what? There's a wacky guy.
Crazy guy, yeah.
Crazy guy. New Day or what?
They're a caricature of like black church folk, really.
Mark Henry's what?
At this point, Mark Henry is just Mark Henry, I think. But
well, he's a mean dude who beats
people. He's an angry black guy, yeah.
Yeah. Who else?
Booker T.
They don't even have that many black people on the roster.
I mean, that's the thing, yeah.
So there's the little stuff like that. They don't have enough black wrestlers on the roster, and the black wrestlers on the roster who are represented aren't really represented in any way. I'm a white guy. I'm represented through a wide spectrum of gimmicks. You got your Bray Wyatts, you've got your Roman Reigns, your Dean Ambrose. Like, there's a little bit of everything, so I can get what I need from anywhere. Well, what about the black fans? But that's racism on a smaller scale, on a scale that people will they'll just accept it because it's just the norm. And if you complain about it, then you'll get people going, well, you're bitching too much, and you just kind of accept it in order to be entertained by the bigger, just allow yourself to be entertained by it. You just kind of, okay, I'll sweep it away. So we haven't been forced to confront that yet. But it's an important thing that's happened in that WWE is that they've gone this far They have opened up a can of worms because you need to understand now that because you went this far, you know how fucking wrong it is. What's your excuse now? Why is Big E should be a fucking champion? Big E is he's an awesome wrestler. He's super talented on the mic, charismatic as hell. He's so hilarious on Twitter, I can barely take it.
Mm-hmm.
The dude, he speaks well. He's got a charisma. Everything that you would have in a white guy, you'd go, fuck, put the belt on him.
Yep.
He's black Brock Lesnar. Why is he not booked that way? Why has he never been put in a position to succeed? There was even at one point, remember those rumors that John Cena was in his corner? He was going to get this huge push.
They're lifting buddies, yeah.
It never happened. Why? What good fucking reason do you don't have one? So if you've told me you know better. You scrub Hogan this hard because this comes out, you know better now. I don't care if it was PR, you know better.
So how do you react? I was having this conversation with somebody else this weekend. How do you react now if all of a sudden tonight R-Truth wins the U.S. Championship?
Good. I don't care. Again, that's the thing, is you get to a point, sometimes it takes really awful shit for change to happen. You know, sometimes you have to hit the bottom, and it sucks to go there, and it sucks you're going to drag someone down with you or multiple people. You know, you're going to hurt the people in your life. You're going to be hurtful to people, but sometimes you need something really shitty to happen to just finally clicks, and you go, I got to be better. I can't keep doing this. I will not be this way anymore. We will not make these mistakes again. Let's learn from them and be better. So if this means that that black wrestlers are finally given a chance, fuck this give divas a chance bullshit, right? Yeah. Like, give black wrestlers a chance. Give everybody a fucking chance. Let's make it fucking to where you all have a shot. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're male, female, black, green. I don't give a fuck. Just whoever's got the most talent.
See, that's my concern is that they're gonna do something knee jerk with somebody like just tonight R-Truth is gonna be named Intercontinental Champ or something. I don't know. I'm just pulling something out of my head. What I would rather see, same as with Hogan, is I'd rather see them show us some evidence that they've learned, and all of a sudden start booking the guys, start booking Big E differently. They've got Uhaa Nation down in NXT. Debut him with the gimmick where you never mention, make him, because one guy that I think WWE, I'll give them some credit. One guy that I think they booked great when they were pushing him, and they didn't. The fact that he was black, I don't know if it was even mentioned, was Bobby Lashley. He was just a big badass dude. They booked him like he was Kurt Angle. He just happened to be black. So let's make the next wave. Those guys, have Jason Jordan, Uhaa Nation, those guys come up from NXT or Big E or whatever, and it's never even a factor what their skin color is. They're just badasses, and make one of them really prominent over the next year.
Wasn't Lashley the dude that Trump picked for the Battle of the Billionaires?
Yep. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, that's hilarious, but why?
I don't remember why.
He's a good wrestler.
Yeah, exactly. Just because he was the one who gave him the best chance to win.
I'm going to win.
Yep.
And it is kind of funny that Trump and,
WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump.
Yeah.
See, they're fucked. What I read somewhere, they lost their shareholders lost like $50 million over the weekend.
Yeah, I read the headline. Hulk Hogan leg drops the stock price or some shit like that.
They want this to go away quick.
They deserve it.
Yeah, but I hope it does it right. I think it's on us as fans who want to see a different product out of WWE, because as much as I wish that Ring of Honor, which is a company right now that has an African American champion and has guys like ACH and Cedric and Moose, the former NFL guy, who are just wrestlers who happen to be black, as much as I wish that they would sort of take over or whatever or get bigger, it's not gonna really happen. WWE is the game, is always, for the foreseeable future, they're the major leagues of pro wrestling. So they need to change. So we as fans who want change out of them have to stay on their asses as a result of this and not forget about it and go back to bitching about Cena wins again in a week. I mean, do that and bitch about other stuff. So.
I feel like we also have to, again, it's easy to just pile on with hate, and it's easy to just say you're shitty for being racist and not ever. Again, there's no context that makes it okay, and I'm not trying to act like it is okay. But as human beings, we definitely we stick with what we're comfortable with. Mm-hmm. It's uncomfortable when you're born. And you're raised and you're kind of, you go through life and one way is just the way about it, right? Like, I'll give an example. And again, I'm going to use me because, whatever. That's
what you know best. So use the example.
In my family, we would fight and, we would call each other names. And then the next day, we would never apologize. We would never have a conversation about it. We would just, something would happen and then something would happen on the TV and we go, oh, that's funny. And then the person we had fought with would be like, yeah, that was funny. And then that would be the cue. Hey, we're good now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now we know we're okay. We can go back to normal. That's fucked up. That's a really awful way to go about things because it breeds this idea in your mind that it doesn't matter what you say to somebody, you can come back from it. It's
right.
Good.
And it never addresses the thing that upset the other person. Exactly.
You never actually handle issues. You don't deal with stuff. Dude, it's taken me years to get this out of me. And this is personal or whatever, but I don't care. My mom's still like that. My mom was in town, had a fight with my sister and called her a fucking whore. My mom to my sister, to her daughter. Yep. And it hit me so hard again with some of the stuff I've been going through, whatever. And she would go, that's so hateful and ugly and awful. And you know what? The next day, they're fine. But that's fucking wrong, guys. It's not okay to be that way. But my sister's still that way. She's 23 years old, 24 years old, whatever she is now, because that's what she's known.
Yeah.
And to introduce to her, hey, you know what? You're not going to survive in the world. You're never going to have a good relationship, and she hasn't, with another human being in any way. If you are like that, you can't be that way. You have to be better. Don't be hateful and just think that it's cool because we'll just whatever the next day. That's not okay. That's not the way to be. So to circle back, you go, people like Vince McMahon, Hogan, whatever, these older guys who they know a viewpoint of that they see of the world and it's comfortable. So you stay in what's comfortable. It's harder to work through feelings and don't let anger come into it. And you start arguing with somebody, right? So it's like, my family, I'd start an argument and it's easy to just be like, fuck you. You're an asshole. Yeah. It's a lot harder to be to sit back for a second and just, okay, this is how I'm feeling, and can we talk about, whatever. Right. So it's at some point you need to do that. You need to grow up and get better and be better and all that. So I feel like we need to have some compassion just for the human element of this, where they know one thing and it's difficult to make them understand there's a better way, and let's get to that part.
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting time in the world, I guess. And this is, I think a lot of people know I live in Baltimore right now. I've lived here for the last 10 plus years. I didn't grow up here, but my wife grew up in the area, and we went through I wrote a rock recap while my wife was reading about police reports to see how close the riots were to our house on a Monday night, not too long ago. And this is because I feel like as a society, as America, for the last, I don't know, for a long time, but I'm just since the civil rights movement, we said, okay, that was good. So now we're not going to deal with it anymore. And still horrible shit was happening, and black people were being treated like shit, fucking murdered by cops and all this other stuff. And then, we elected Barack Obama, and everybody's like, oh, now we cured racism. We can move on. And now it's coming to light a bunch of stuff like the riots. The things with Eric Garner and all this stuff. And stuff like this too. Stuff like Hogan, our childhood 80s hero, says some hateful shit. And it's not just, and like you said, I think that's the other thing is it's like when your mom would say that to your sister. Yes, you can get over it and just move forward and pretend it didn't happen because you love each other. That's possible. You can do that. But it doesn't deal with the fact that your mom, first of all, that saying that has an effect on your sister, even though she pretends she's fine, that fucking hurts. And your mom has some stuff that's underneath that because you don't just pull that word out of nowhere, right? Hulk Hogan doesn't just accidentally go on a 5-minute rant about how he doesn't want his daughter sleeping with people that he would call the N-word. There's something else underneath that. And by just sloughing it off and moving on with life, you're not dealing with the underneath shit. Yeah. And that's what, and WWE's going to have to deal with it now. We as wrestling fans are going to have to deal with it now. Hulk Hogan hopefully will deal with it now. But we got to address this and say, this shit is fucked up. And do we want to just pretend it doesn't happen because it doesn't happen as often as it used to? Or do we want to just make an excuse and say that was like the Vince McMahon thing? Oh, that was just a skit. Well, what about the time when Triple H said something almost as bad to Booker T and then fucking buried him at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
And that was, I don't use the word term burial lightly, but that match was structured to make Booker look like a joke.
Wasn't it like he hit one pedigree, and took 10 minutes to cover him and got the count?
And still got it. Yep. The whole story was constructed to make Booker look like a fool.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen to white people.
You say it's a match or it's an angle on TV. It's scripted. It's not the same. That doesn't fucking matter. Yeah. You know what I mean? That doesn't make it better.
Yeah, there's still something beneath it. Yeah.
Yeah. Again,
there's a body of evidence that says you write your stories differently for Black people and Latinos. I mean, because let's not forget the Mexicools. It was only, 12 years ago that those guys came out riding fucking lawnmowers. Yeah. Let's not forget how you treat women. I mean, yes, they're just stories, but you don't tell these stories about white guys.
This is a war that's been raging for a long time. It is deeply ingrained. A lot of people think, racism doesn't, I've had arguments with other family members of mine where racism is, not, they go, my brother and his wife, they're like, racism's not, it's 2015 now, right? Or it was 2014 at the time they said this.
Right.
And then, not to bury my mom, but my mom came up for Christmas and she literally said these words: "I don't think slavery should have been abolished." And I look at them and go, you fucking want to tell me that there's no racism in 2014? That's your mom, dude. Mm. And it led to just this huge big blow up, whatever. Because I wasn't having that shit, that. Yeah. But yeah, so it's just it's time to make this. It's been a war, dude, that's just been raging on. It's so deeply ingrained into so many different people. Yeah. And they don't even realize it in so many ways. They don't even, maybe, it's funny, Hulk, he's saying, I'm a racist, I guess, to some degree. I don't even know. It's at least possible he doesn't really understand the problem.
Yeah.
So many of these people who are racist, they don't get it. They just don't fucking understand. And we're quick to just be like, you're a garbage person and just move on, instead of being like, let's have a fucking conversation. Go to a fucking racial sensitivity class or do something, like educate yourself.
Well, have, like in Hulk's case, or anybody, but I mean, Hulk Hogan has a good deal of African-American, co-workers and things. And like people even somebody like Mark Henry, who said, boy, that broke my heart. And next time I see him, I want to kick him in the balls, or whatever he said. But he's still somebody who says, Hulk has helped me throughout my career. So Hulk Hogan should go and sit down with Mark Henry and say, how does what I say make you feel? And how does, explain to me the difference between how I've been treated and how you get treated, and how I can walk in somewhere and get a different reaction from how you did. And just shut the fuck up and listen. Because that's the trick with, like I said, I lived in Baltimore and I work in a social work field as a full-time job. And so I work with predominantly minority population. And that's been hard for me, but that's one of the things that I've learned is, as a white guy who does get benefits from that, I'm not going to, I don't want to get into a big privilege discussion, but one of the things that we have to do is shut the fuck up and listen. And this goes for dealing with women or dealing with kids. I mean, just anybody that has a different perspective and a different reality than you do, the only way that you can communicate with them is to shut the fuck up and listen to what their experience is. You can't tell them what their experience is. Yeah. I don't even know what I'm ranting about now.
No, I hear you. I mean, the Ferguson stuff happened, and then, a lot of white people were, just standing up and being
like
loud.
The Hogan defenders are up here like, yeah, he's not racist, or, it's like they're so worried about protecting their childhood memories that they won't even look at what happened.
Again, and what is that? What is that underneath it all? Selfish.
Yep.
It's you're thinking about you, motherfucker. You're not thinking about the people he hurt. He hurt people, man. Like, he fucking said some shit, and it devastated an entire race, dude. Mm-hmm. Are you fucking serious? And you're worried about your childhood hero? Which, again, in some ways, really isn't even tarnished. It's a character.
Yeah.
Don't fucking act, they're not the same thing, but then also he is tarnished because it is the man who, whatever. So you can't totally separate the two.
Right.
But yeah, man, it's just like you're worried about you right there. That's part of the fucking problem, dude, is that you can be worried about you, because it's like that fucking thing I saw on Tumblr, or maybe, I don't know if it was Tumblr or Twitter or something floating around, the best way to talk about the privilege stuff. Is it, and people, white people, and I saw this pop up on Cageside. There's no White History Month. There's no white, all this stuff. Why don't white people wear it's, and I saw the thing and they said it's the same reason that when you're in first place in Mario Kart, you don't get fucking lightning bolts, dude, when you go over the little question marks. That's reserved for the people in last place. You're already in the lead, motherfucker. You don't get the stars. You don't get the lightning bolts. You don't get all this great shit to go along with the fact that you're winning. You've lapped the field multiple times. Give them the fucking lightning bolts so they can shrink you and they can catch up. And when you get shrunk, don't fucking bitch about it. You're still in first by a mile. It's time to shut the fuck up. Don't tell Big E that he's wrong for feeling the way he does, going off on his rants on Twitter, or MVP, or Mark Henry, or Booker T. Any of these people. Well, Booker T said it to Hogan. Why was it so bad? Shut the fuck up already. It's not the same. Right. It is not at all the same. You don't know what it is to face that kind of persecution. I don't identify as a feminist anymore. And the reason for that is because there have been too many things that I've said and done, and it's like, I thought you were it's like, man, I don't get it. And that's the thing. I won't call myself a feminist anymore because I don't fucking get it. I still like the feminist ideal. I want justice for everyone and all that good stuff, but I don't get it. And that's what you need to do. So you need to sit there and go, I don't get it because I can't get it because I'm not a woman and I'm not black. Right. I just need to listen.
Yeah, and that's our job, is to sit there and if we want to support the people who are fighting for those things, the women and the black folks and anybody else, we sit there and we let them tell us how we can help.
Yes. Shut the fuck up.
Right. It's not about us.
Your opinion doesn't mean shit in this situation. It doesn't.
Right.
So just shut up and hear that. And again, to circle back, because we're at an hour, so it's about time to jump off here. But I hope Hulk stops and it just, whatever needs to happen happens, and he just goes, man, I fucked up and it's time.
Yep.
It's time.
And I hope Hogan and the WWE and all wrestling fans don't fucking defensively react to this and only act out of self-interest and try to figure out, how do we fix this and make this art form that I think that's what we all have in common is we fucking love pro wrestling. How do we make this better and represent and tell great stories for as many people as possible and not make anybody feel left out or less than?
Yep.
That shouldn't be that hard to do.
Stop thinking. Take a day. This is for everybody. Everyone, just take a day, today, tomorrow, whatever day, a day this week, pick a day, and go through that day thinking more about everyone you come across than you think about yourself. What would be the best thing for them? Not you, for them. Don't do this every day because you need to think about yourself and you need to be happy in life and all that good stuff. But think about what would be best for everyone you come across for that person and not you. And just see how different things are. See how different the world looks just looking at it that way. And maybe that can also help put some perspective on some things. Because it's easy to be selfish.
Yep. And like you were saying earlier, I mean, that you get through that horrible moment where you admit that you fucked up, and then afterwards there's some relief because you don't have to carry that weight anymore. That's also when you just shut the fuck up and listen and try to help other people. That's some time that you're not thinking about yourself. And I can't speak for everybody, but for me, when I spend a lot of time thinking about me and poor me and my fucking problems and everything, that's when I'm miserable. When I stop thinking about that, I feel a lot better. So there's a selfish motivation too. So just go out there and fucking help somebody. God damn it.
Yeah, I don't know. Because, I mean, yeah, dude, like I said, the thing with where, again, I don't deserve it and I'm not worthy of it, man. And I don't know. It makes me kind of uncomfortable because I'm just a dude and I work hard at the job I have and it creates something cool for people, but it does create something cool for people. Mm-hmm. And I have made a lot of mistakes, but we helped cultivate and grow this thing into something where someone could show up and they could say, man, I found a home here. Yep. And I love you guys. And thank you for being here. And thanks for being around and doing all the stuff that you do. And you should there can be so much more like that if you just don't fuck up, if you don't do this, if you don't lie, if you're not racist, if you just treat people well, if you help people, you support people instead of drag them down. Just if you're feeling bad, that's cool, Like there was the one guy with the anxiety stuff on the site and who said that he told my story and talking about how I don't know how to go anywhere and I come here and I have friends here. And it's like, dude, that's my story. But it doesn't matter how bad you feel. You should always be trying to be supportive for everyone around you because that is going to make you feel better.
Yep.
Hulk would be better off today if he was not that guy than he would be for being that guy. So Be better, people. Just be supportive. And we love you. And Sean, I love you.
I love you, Geno. I love this community, and we'll get through this, everybody.
It's us. We're us two white guys are struggling so much with Hogan being racist.
Oh well, we'll figure out a way to deal with it.